Shukr Guzari to all friends who participated in the zikr, beautiful zikr session. We welcome Sultanuddin Sahib for our session on 100 questions. Book, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, Naveen Saiba, Ya Ali Madad, all dear and near friends on this platform. So with your permission, shall we start?
Ji, Ya Ali Madad, Bismillah.
Bismillah. So everything's, I'm audible and the screen is visible?
Yes, we can see you and hear you. Shukr.
Shukr. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. حق نور مولانا الشاكرين والحسين حاضر إمام توفيق طاقات همات ياريه لا إله إلا الله الحي القيوم لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق اليقين لا إله إلا الله مالك يوم الدين يا إمام الزمان يا مولانا أنت قوتي وأنت سندي وعليك اتكالي يا هازر يا موجود يا شاكريم الحسين أنت الإمام الحق المبين اللهم لك السجود وتأتي شكرا لله والحمد لله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Today's questions about question 38 and 39, but I'm going to focus on question number 38. If we have some time, I'm going to go quickly through question number 39. 38 is a tough question. It's a tough question. It's about Tawheed. That's the highest level of the religion, if you will. That's about Tawheed. If you understand Tawheed, everything is understood. So this is a difficult topic. Understanding of this topic is difficult. Talking about this is difficult. So with your prayers and the blessings of our beloved Imam alayhi salam, hopefully we're going to understand something. Although we have talked about it on and off, but this, when you look at this topic again and again, you see that you feel that it's difficult. Then you see a lot of more blessings in it. Then we try to understand more. So the question starts about Surah Ikhlas. Somebody has asked that in Surah Ikhlas, God says that may he be exalted, has not descended to this material world. Would you kindly explain what this means? And Buzurgar Allama Sahib has responded that the way the wording is in this question is not how it is in the Surah Ikhlas. So this question is not properly worded. Or somebody who asked, they didn't have a proper knowledge of faith to put this in a proper wording, this question, although the question is very critical. Then it starts from this, starts a topic of Tawheed. And Allama Sahib mentions that the Tawheed, he has written in detail in one of the books. And that book is called Ilmi Khazana. Ilmi Khazana. And or previously known as Panch Maqalas. Panch Maqala. In the fourth Maqala, under the topic of Tawheed, oneness of God, Allama Sahib has written too many pages with references from the books of Pir Nasir al-Khusraw. So I read it. It's long, it's high level, it's not easy to understand. So I spent some time on it, so I try to understand it. But if it's a high level, so I try to. Then Allama Sahib in the next paragraph mentions about this monorealism or monoreality. What Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah mentioned about this concept. So Allama Sahib says, if you understand this, more what Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah tried to say in his memoirs, there will no questions be left out about Tawheed. All of them will be answered. Then I focused on that. So let's try to understand that, what based on my humble capacity, what Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has been trying to say in that book. for your curiosity, I don't think this book, Ilmi Khazana, has been translated into English. I don't know if it's been translated. So if you understand Urdu, you may go on the website and for this Ilmi Khazana, and that maqala number 4, you may read it for yourself and try to understand that, because it's long. That's beyond the scope of this lecture on this platform. So long, it's too many pages, covers a lot. Let's focus on this memoirs of Aga Khan, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Sallallahu Alaihi, when he says, Islam, the religion of my ancestors. There is the statement, this is the stamp. Islam does not belong to any other sects in Islam, who so-called Muslims or other groups that would claim that Islam, the religion of my ancestors. So we need to understand that concept, the religion of my ancestors. Once we start with that, so it gives some kind of color here, where we're going to, how the religion came into being. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah explains in detail. This Memoirs of Aga Khan is also a hard book to understand and explain it based on my humble understanding. It's hard, and we've been trying to understand this for years now, so it is hard. But the more we read, the more we focus, inshallah, it becomes easier and easier with his blessings. With his blessings, it becomes easier and easier. First and foremost, before we talk about this monorealism or monoreality that Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah introduced it, we need to go back in history. What happened? How did we come to this point? So we could appreciate this. Historic beliefs of this primitive man about this wizardry, magics, all that gave birth to this belief and religion thing. Religion, then came the birth of religion and science. In these old times, now on the back of our head, remember, Nurun ala Nur, Nurun ala Nur. We talked about this. This is the divine statement, Nurun ala Nur. It's a zikr. If we remember this principle, we will not go wrong at any given time in history. It's an eternal chain, Nurun ala Nur, Nurun ala Nur, Nurun ala Nur. So it doesn't matter where in history we talk, that Nurun ala Nur is there, that is working. That's the office of Imamah. Imam is permanent, Nurun ala Nur. So all this happening behind the scene, that Nurun ala Nur, the miracle, the power of Nurun ala Nur is working. So to shape the beliefs of these people. Doesn't matter if it was before Adam, after Adam, during all these prophets, 124,000 prophets, all that. And one of the lectures been said that this Nurun ala Nur is a dahr tested, historically tested, time tested, dahr tested reality. You understand that?
Sultanuddin Sahib, we are having a hard time hearing you. Sultanuddin Sahib, we cannot hear you. Friends, just give 1 minute. I think line disconnected. He will be joining soon. الهي 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 مشكلة آسان يا علي مدد رسان يا علي 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 مشكلة آسان يا علي مدد رسان يا علي. We can see you now, so inshallah we should be able to hear you.
My apology. Your screen. So can you help me? How far did we get? Did everybody was hearing me?
Last few minutes we couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. How religion came into being? I think we started from here. So prehistoric beliefs of primitive man then led to the birth of religion and science. That beliefs of the primitive man about the magic, wizarding, and all this curiosity led to this belief. Then came the proto-religion and proto-science thing that the Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah talks about. When it says proto-science and proto-religion, it must come from the source. It is anything comes from the source in those times, whether it's about secular or religious. It's coming from the source, it's the same, it's the one reality. Then what happened? Towards the latest, close before the Christian era, this reasoning thing, the curiosity of this man, all these so-called philosophers, the reasoning, that reasoning in that process, that the element of religious awe, experiment, that thing got lost, that meaning got lost. Then what Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah mentions, that the dark ages enfolded Europe, and this was spreading. This it came to the point from previous before the Christian era, after the Christian era, to the point close to the 7th century, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam manifested here. Now, to counter all those darknesses or dark ages, here comes the manifestation of Nur. Although that Nurun ala Nur was there, then what happened? Up to Abdul Muttalib. Then the Mustawda part separated. The Mustaqar continued. Abdul Muttalib, Abu Talib, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. Then came from Mustawda, came to Abdullah, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then back introduced the main branch, the mainstream, the Imam Zaman. Yidi Ghadir Khum declared. Okay. So what happened? to counter all these dark ages, so that Nuru ana Nur, the next Natik, the last prophet, manifested. Now, where are we within this, all this, in this spectrum of beliefs? The religious all got lost. Then it was the duty of the office of Imamat, or all those dignitaries attached to the source, Imam al-Zaman. So it's back to explain to the world that there is something else here. Material intelligence is different from the religious spiritual enlightenment. So introducing back that element of religion which was lost because of all those reasoning that started with this philosophy. Plato and Aristotle make much more changes, so things got lost in between. Now it's back. The control check, divine control check, happens through this office of prophethood, then imamat. Now we're going on a journey towards concept of monorealism or monoreality, Tawheed. Let's examine based on the kalimas and with reference to the divine recognition, because now we're restricting our beliefs that based on the Islamic beliefs, and especially within the Islam, the Ismaili philosophy or Ismaili belief, recognition or ma'rifah, divine recognition, is fundamental, and how to go about it. So in that for kalimas, which we're going to come here, we have La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah Aliyun Amirul Mu'minin Aliyullah Nur Maulana Shah Karim al-Husaini Hazir Imam. We're going to come to that. So based on that, and with reference to the kalimas and the divine recognition, where is everybody standing? And how did we get through all this and came to this concept of Tawheed or monorealism, if you will? So let's say atheism. When the purpose of life based on Quran Sharif is وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that we have not created the jinn and the humankind but to worship me. That's what Allah says in the Quran. That's the purpose of the creation. So if the purpose of creation is to worship Allah, what's the purpose of the worshiping? Well, in the Quran Sharif it says وَعْبُدُ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Keep worshiping until yaqeen comes to you. I didn't translate the word yaqeen in English. If you go and try yourself to find what do the translators do, they do not translate that yaqeen thing into a certainty. Yaqeen means certainty. You find different translations. In some translation you find, so it's in Arabic it says wa'budu rabbaka, to worship. And this verse of the Quran is tied up to other verse of the Quran that we just mentioned, that I have not created the jinn and the humankind but to worship me. So worship me. Then this is incomplete. Then we go the purpose of the worship. We find wa'budu rabbika, keep worshiping until ya'tiyakal yaqeen, the yaqeen will come to you. There now the Islamic schools of thought out there, when they see this verse of the Quran, this on the opposite of yaqeen is shak, doubt. When they think deep, they say, are we having doubt about this, that we're worshiping Allah with doubt? They say, no, that doesn't make sense. We must have yaqeen. We must have yaqeen, faith in Allah. That's why we're worshiping. So that's why they translated wrong. But when it comes to blessings of beloved Hazrat Imam alayhi salam, here the esoteric faith, We keep worshipping, and we understand that yaqeen comes into three categories: ilmul yaqeen, ainul yaqeen, haqqul yaqeen. So keep worshipping, that you go through these ranks. Keep worshiping until you reach to that haqqul yaqeen. So keep worshipping, keep worshipping. So for us, it's easy until we reach that haqqul yaqeen. Okay. So what happens here now? We just explained this line that with reference to kalimas that we recite in our du'as, and with reference to the divine recognition, which is the purpose of life based on the Quran Sharif. Let's examine the religions in the world and all those people where they stand. Atheism, so they believe in no God. So believing in no God, forget the recognition of God. So we have come up with this standard, this principle, based on the kalimas and the divine recognition. In that, based on that principle, so failed. Atheisms failed. Their lives do not serve the purpose of the creation. Then comes polytheism, money gods. Well, in that, believing in more than one God and who has more power, all that. So don't go into detail. If you would like to go into more details in each one of them, I think we need to take a university course to understand in depth all that. What we need to go quickly right now. So in that monotheism, then comes on top, how do you pronounce Zoroastrianism? And it's believed that they believe in monotheism and dualism. That there is the supreme power there, the Allah, and also this universe is another Allah. So it becomes dualism, some kind of separation. Well, based on that standard, we say, let's say it's failed too. Then we come to the final, when we come to conclusion, we inshallah understand why it's all of them is failed. In that monotheism then comes Judaism. In Judaism, they put limits to God. How? Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah says, I forgot to put the page number here, on page 11 of Memoirs of Al-Khan, the national and racial God for the children of Israel. Look at this, national and racial God of children of Israel. And his personality is entirely separate from its supreme manifestation, the universe. They also put the separation, one. Number two, if you ask the Jews, they believe that Prophet Moses, or Musa alayhi salam, is the greatest of all prophets. And here they also, they are mistaken when it comes to Tawheed. Divine recognition will not happen with a proper, perfect knowledge of Tawheed. They failed. So Judaism failed. Christianity, well, Christianity, this concept of Trinity, separation, different concept. It doesn't serve the purpose. It's not Tawheed. Based on Islamic principles, not Tawheed. What Hazrat Isa, it's not that Hazrat Isa taught them that, no. They didn't get those things right. Then after that, they mix things up. So all you can see in all these beliefs, atheists, polytheism, Judaism, Christianity, the essence is gone. When the essence is out, they start reasoning themselves. They start reasoning themselves. This imperfect man with this little rational soul or intellect jumping in this ocean of universe trying to reason, they get lost. So they failed. All right, we go to then the Muslims. Majority of Sunni Islam's stand, where they stand at, where majority of them is influenced by Al-Ghazali's teachings. Al-Ghazali's teachings, what I think he has written about 5 books or so. I haven't read these books, but what I heard and what the Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has mentioned in his memoirs, after the last prophet, no more divinely religious authority. So no more religious authority, because Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. It's in the Quran. It says, "You're the last prophet." Khatamun Nabiyyin, last prophet. But what he has missed here, in that verse of the Quran, it says, "Ma kana Muhammadun aba ahadim min rijalikum." Yes, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, any of your men. Walakin Rasulullah wa khataman nabiyyin. So we khatam nabi, they understood somewhat here, but they missed here what they missed. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, because there will be a lot of people claiming that they have some kind of connection to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When this verse of the Quran rejects all that, what is left here? He is the father of Fatima Zahra alayha salam. Here's the proof of Imamah right there. Beautiful thing right there. Okay, we don't go into that right now. That's not the topic. So what we're talking, that the majority of Sunni Islam, where they stand, based on the teachings of Ghazali, that believe in that school of thought. So he fails to believe in a religious authority after the Prophet Muhammad's physical life. That means he doesn't believe in the event of Ghadir Khum. He covers that event up. And anybody covers that, anything that which is the truth. In Arabic, it's kafara, kafara, to cover up. And the plural of that is kafirin. I'm talking about the wordings, what it means in the dictionary. All right, but here also with all those understandings, Imam Zaman alayhi salam says pluralism, tolerance. We don't finger point at any sect in Islam. And he believes that secular authority based on people's choice, election. So here's the election, but that's not the case in real Islam. So what happened? So if with those beliefs, they end up worshiping what? Unknown God. End up worshiping unknown God. But the principle Hazrat Ali gave to us says not to worship a God that I've not seen. That principle, with that principle, so failed. There's majority here on this journey. Then comes the Shias. All right, the majority erred too. They missed the point, and they have contradictory beliefs. What they believe in? All the Shias believe in this hadith, in the Imam is Zaman. That Imam is Zaman. Imam is Zaman means the present Imam. Present Imam. Hazir. Imam is Zaman. They say that Imam must be present. They believe in that hadith. They say that if the world will be there without the Imam of the time, for a single moment, the whole world will perish. They believe in that. At the same time, they believe in the hidden Imam, that their Imam went into hiding. This is contradiction. How they failed? Well, without that, who was Zahir? Because you go find Allah in the Quran, it says, Huwa al-awwal, Huwa al-akhir, Huwa al-zahir, Huwa al-batin. This Huwa al-zahir is the gateway towards the 3 other aspects of Allah. Awwal, akhir, batin. So we are a Zahir, we need a Zahiri reference of our God. With that recognition, our prayers get accepted, get started. So that who was Zahir, believing and not believing at the same time, and contradicts themselves, failed. Where are we going? We passed all those things. It is because of our efforts. No, it's the blessings of Imam Zaman that we are born Ismailis. We automatically went through how hard it is. These so-called philosophers, great philosophers, they're stuck, they're lost. They don't know the truth. And we have gone past all that with His mercy. Let's keep going. So, based, and now let's, where Ismailis stand? Ismailis position. Ismailis position is that all those atheists, polytheists, all those exist in this here. La ilaha. Those atheists, who says no God, they're in this stage. La ilaha, no God. Then comes the other category, illallah, that go beyond that atheist, believe in Allah and some sort of beliefs, but they still believe that there should be some deity, Allah, God, whatever they name it. They have some belief. They've gone beyond that stage. So they are one stage ahead of the atheists who believe no God. Even in today's Muslim community, there are some this sect of Islam, the most fundamentalist one that don't believe in Muhammad. They don't want to see the Muhammad's name on the mosques. Say straight Allah, Allah, no Muhammad. So we have that group too in Islam. After that, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Then the other sect goes one step ahead, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Then Shias goes one step ahead of that group, Aliyun Amirul Mu'minin. But they are lost right there. From amongst the Shias, they encounter the Ismailis. That goes Nur Maulana Shah Karim Hussaini Hadimam, the Kalimai Imamat. So we have here Kalimai Tawheed, Kalimai Risalat, Kalimai Walayat, and Kalimai Imamat. So are we done? No, the real game starts right here. All the Quranic commands, do and don'ts, tawalla and tabarra. If we were to explain the whole Quran in two concepts given by our great da'is, tawalla and tabarra, starts right from this stage, where Ismailis find themselves. So the real game starts from here. Tawalla and tabarra. Tawalla, associate with. Where is a thought, thing, a person? Whom do we associate with? What kind of thoughts? What kind of things? What kind of people? Tawalla. And tabarra. Whom, what thing, what thoughts do we dissociate from? The whole Quran comes under this stage. Tawalla and tabarra. The real game starts right here. Okay, we are going based on that kalima. We found ourselves. We found every single group of people there. Where are they? And when we say we are right here, we need the proof from the Quran Sharif. We shouldn't be talking from our guts. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Salawatullah, when he introduced his mono-realism, and Allama Sahib Buzurgwar Qudassallahu Sirahu expanded this mono-realism. This mono-realism is equal to mono-reality. What mono-reality means? Musawat Rahmani. Oh, that's a big topic. Very difficult to understand. Very difficult to understand. Very humbling. The more we understand this, the more humbling it is. It is on numerous stages. If we think we understand totally all of that, no. That's not intellectual humility. The more we understand that, a lot of blessings keep coming with that. So Tawheed recognition is on numerous stages for us. That everything starts from our stage, being a Ismaili. So we talk that this great concept must be anchored in the Quran Sharif. Monorealism. Yes, it is. In the Quran Sharif, chapter 46 by 34, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala says, Qul, says to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say, Qul, say. Innama is this word. Innama is that there's no other way, or just only this means this. Innama a'izukum, that I'm going to give you advise you. Biwahidatin, one advice. From this, a'izukum is wa'iz. We have al-wa'iz, the one who gives us this wa'az, al-wa'iz. Qul innama a'izukum. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, oh Prophet, tell them, tell the people, all the people, not just atheists, all that. Here it says tell. So tell to the whole world, because Allah is for the whole universe. This message of the Quran was for the whole humankind. Whether they take it or not, that's their business, their problem. But tell, I'm going to give you one advice, which is very comprehensive advice. Biwahidatin, just one advice. An taqumu, that all is in plural, like all of you. Stand. An taqumu, qiyam, stand. Stand. Lillah, to Allah. Can you make connection to inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun? All of us are from Allah and we go back to Allah. Here it says an taqumu lillah, stand up, qiyam, resurrection, all that. So stand to Allah. You can read the translation, how they translate, but here if you understand the words, you can translate for yourself. It's in plural, an taqumu, all of you. Lillahi. Masna. Masna comes from saniya, duality. So from multiplicity, get out. Go towards duality. How did you end up towards the duality? From all this multiplicity, you get ahead, become sabiqun. Those who go further, progress, gets close to his nur, more than the billions of other people, and get through mutu qabla an tamutu, in a step or be born in the world of spirituality, alami ruhaniyat. Now here you end up in masna, duality. Allah is way there, you're here in duality. So you go through that mutu qabla an tamutu, and after that, successfully going through that stage, you become in that stage of masna here, masna, in that duality. That Allah would talk from behind the curtain or something, or some kind of profound observations, all that, all those experiences. Now this great soul is born in the world of spirituality based on this hukm of the Quran, successfully got there with his mercy. That's not the end. Wa farada, so continue on this journey of the spiritual world. When it says alami ruhaniyat, spiritual world, it's a world. It's not one step, finish, done, go to the next world of intellectuality. No. It's a world of spirituality. That newborn soul in the world of spirituality, although it's at the stage of duality, based on explanation of Allama Sahib Quddasallahu Sirahu, it's going to take some years of us, some time. So that soul gets well developed, matured enough, so that we go to the next stage. What's the next stage? Wafarada, become one. So let's go back. O Prophet, tell them to stand, go on this, go through this resurrection or resurrections, go through this, so that you would end up in duality. Then from duality, keep going with his mercy, keep going, so that you will end up in the after the intellectual birth, you become aqsa wasil. We all the time in Jamaat for the late souls, marhum souls, aqsa wasil karna. That haq is the truth, that oneness of Allah. That's the origin of existence of everything. So whether it's after leaving our bodies or based on this command of Quran Sharif, with the guidance of the true guide, Imam Zaman alayhi salam, is possible in this life. Because the Quran says so. It's the kalam of Allah, divine speech, if you will. Then what happens? Before that, or that the thoughts, the thinking process of that soul is low. It's not that great. Once becomes that farada, in this verse of the Quran, farada, like haq se wasil. It is haq se wasil. Just get that realization. It wasn't separated to be in the first place. But get that realization that you find yourself with the haq, oneness. That's the meaning, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. That's the meaning of monorealism. That's the meaning of monoreality. That's the hukum of the Quran Sharif. Now the thinking process of this apparently a humankind, a man, a woman, anybody, just one simple person. Apparently, but inside he has reached that elevation that the thinking process of that person is on divine standard. So he says, Summa tatafakaru. Start thinking from now. Summa, then. So go through all those resurrections, duality, from duality to farada, individuality, one, become one, mono reality. Then start thinking. Summa tatafakaru. After that, he finds the whole universe in him. He finds his manifestations in the whole universe. Did Hazrat alayhi salam not know about this? Did he not mention about this? He mentioned back then, but it wasn't the time for people to understand. Hazrat alayhi salam said, وَتَحْسَبُ أَنَّكَ جِرْمٌ صَغِيرٌ وَفِيكَ أَنْتَ وَالْعَالَمُ الْأَكْبَرُ. You think you're a small body? No. Alam Akbar. This macrocosm is hidden in you. Then Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah puts in different word. Supreme manifestation of Allah. Well, any soul goes in that ocean of souls, universal soul, then finds itself controlling the whole universe. The whole universe. Then can you think that that soul is separate from the Imam Zaman soul, that universal soul? Or it's oneness? This is Tawheed. This is monorealism. What Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is introduced. So what Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah introduced, it was 100% according to the Quran Sharif. And Prophet Muhammad knew about that. He made an hadith about this. That وَلَوْ لَمْ يَبْقَى مِنَ الزَّمَانِ إِلَّا يَوْمٌ وَاحِدٌ. That even from the time, مِنَ الزَّمَانِ, nothing remains but just one day. فَتَوَلَّ اللَّهَ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ. Allah is going to prolong that day. حَتَى يَخْرِجُ رَجُلٌ مِنْ زُرِيَّتِهِ. To the point, or until a rajul, a man, will manifest more from my progeny. So this is not here out of the blue. It's nurun ala nur, nurun ala nur, nurun ala nur, nurun ala nur. So that man from his progeny will manifest and fill this earth with equity and justice as it is filled with injustice and iniquity. We are going towards that Tawheed, Musawat Rahmani. Now, this hukum or command, divine command in the Quran Sharif was 14 centuries ago in the Quran Sharif. For those who understood this, like Salman Farsi and other great souls, they reached there, that elevation already at their times. So with reference to individuals, it was right there. But what our great Da'is have taught us, especially Allama Sahib and his teachings, what he has taught us, what he has written in his books, Some of his teachings are for the centuries to come. What Pir Nasir Khusrau taught us 1,000 years ago, we ended up understanding, realizing in this past century. This is common, this is natural. Adam alayhi salam brought some taught. His son did not understand. His son failed to understand the reality. He stood up against the nur. That's happened with Hazrat Noah alayhi salam. He brought the truth, the message of the truth from Allah to the people, but his own son failed to understand. He went against the nur. The same happened at the time as Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam brought the message of the truth, but people did not understand it. They went with their own reasoning, philosophical reasoning, all that, and they went against that nur and wanted to crucify that nur person, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. So at any given time, we see all those great souls bring the message of the truth based on the needs of the time, but people fail to understand. Then centuries later, oh, they understand what that great soul was teaching to us. We fail to understand. Isn't that blessing if we understand it now and benefit from it? Because it's very revolutionary. The concept of monorealism or monoreality is the end of the concepts. The top. This is practical Tawheed right here. This is about Ismailis. This is our faith. It's all because of the Imam Zaman. It's all because of the Imam Zaman. So isn't that beautiful? Everything comes back to the Imam Zaman, and we have him. But it's very important. It's very important to understand the divine aspect of Imam Zaman. And Maulana Rumi says that his divine aspect is behind 700 layers. So with the blessings, with his mercy and power of ilmul yaqeen, we need to humbly try our servants' efforts to move it layer by layer, layer by layer, so we get closer and closer to his nur. If we do not get intellectually and with the power of ilmul yaqeen closer and closer to his nur, it's very, very difficult, to the point that the Allama says it's impossible to go to the next level of Ainul Yaqeen. With that, I think we should, because we change the topic, it's very, I would say it's a lot to absorb here, a lot to process. If we change it to go to the next question, the topic changes. I think that's gonna somewhat kill the purpose. So I'm not going to touch the next question. And let's absorb this. I hope, because I said it's a very difficult topic. And we went through all those journeys of Ilm al-Yaqeen, how we got to monorealism. Centuries, millenniums have passed. And this concept became now available to us. And this farada, that's hukm of Musawat Rahmani, divine equity that will happen, a day will come based on the Quran Sharif and what Allama Sabuzwar has taught us, that Musawat Rahmani, the divine equity, will happen on this physical earth too, but down the road, the office of Imamat is working on that, and is preparing us to work with that, to go with that, go along with that stream. You are all da'is. The more people understand these concepts, we need more and more qualified da'is to explain these concepts to people. We have hard time understanding ourselves, not to mention the people who have no understanding, no belief in this esoteric knowledge. So we need to go a long way, not to mention about them. But we need to be, this is very humbling. This is the, when it says al-khalqu yalullah. In this hadith, it did not say Ismailis or yalullah, as if Ismailis are the family of Allah, family members of Allah. No, al-khalqu iyalullah. All the creation is his family members, as if like that. If that's the case, and Imam Zaman says, know more to serve the creation of Allah better. So we need to know more to serve the creation of Allah better. With all that, I think I had some glitches here, internet connection too. I hope everything went smoothly. And with this difficult topic, you may forgive me for my shortcomings. And anything good is from His mercy. Yali Madad.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. This is a beautiful question, very deep question. And, it tells me that we need to have some sort of standard of knowledge. So when we compare all of these journeys you took us from initial stages to Christianity and Judaism and all of that, we need to have some sort of standard so we understand how we're comparing this and coming to this particular point of smiley perspective, which was, very, very good to understand it. And I just wanted to quote, like in Memoir, Sultan Muhammad Shah very clearly said that divine guidance continued and could not be left merely to millions of mortal men on their whims and gusts, right? So it is amazing to hear all of this and understand this quote from Sultan Muhammad Shah's memoirs, that how important it is for us to know the true knowledge and apply it and understand it to deeper our own concepts initially, to be able to spread it to the Jamaat, inshallah. I mean, and couple of the friends actually asked the same question. If you can go over a little bit more about tawalla and tabarra, the meaning and the concept a little bit, so it would be helpful to friends.
Inshallah. In English, it's very easy. Tawalla, associate with. Tabarra, dissociate from. So if you're associating with good thoughts, all the intentions start from here. All those good thoughts are considered prayers. We don't allow those bad thoughts in, waswasa, evil thoughts, all that. So if you dissociate from all those thoughts, so we're doing tawalla in intentions. So in intention, in speech, in actions and deeds, in all that we associate with good things. That's tawalla. And the same, if you do good tawalla, it's automatically tabarra. What happens? If you're doing tawalla, that means you're doing tabarra too, because you're dissociating from all those evil thoughts, other people, gossip, all that. So if you're learning all these books, all this knowledge, ilm al-yaqeen, this tawalla, automatically it's tabarra, because you're not wasting our time on those other, I don't know, a lot of information, misinformation, disinformation, wrong information. So that's tawalla and tabarra at the same time. The whole Quran Sharif is like that. The whole these books. So I think it's now from clear that all those thoughts, speech, we say all good things with our tongues, zikr, all that is tawalla. Automatically is tabarra too. And deeds likewise. Thank you.
I mean, friends, I hope it is clear. And if you have any questions or any comments, friends can unmute and come forward. I know it was a very, it was a lot to absorb in this question. I think for us to go back and review this question again and read, the Quranic references we talked about, so it would help us actually understand the question a little bit better. And then if friends have more questions or even comments, you can share with Nachis, and then we can request Sultanuddin Sahib to review any parts of this question we may need to. Okay, so there's one more question we just received. If it's, at the end, if it's all about tawalla and tabarra, why do we have to learn this concept in such detail, like, which are so difficult?
We have this huququllah and huququl ibad. In Islam, we have these two concepts, uququllah and uququl ibad, rights of Allah and rights of his servants. So all those who people say, oh, ya Allah, ya Allah, ya Allah, and ignore the rest, they failed. But if there is this poem in Farsi, yes, chashmi boshat shah shinas, chashmi boshat shah shinas, आंखें ऐसी होनी चाहिए शाह को पहचाने वाली, in Urdu if you will. So chashmi boshat shah shinas, eyes must be of that standard that would recognize the shah, king. تا شناست شاه را در هر لباس, so that would recognize the king in any attire, any manifestation. Now we, from the memoirs of Aga Khan, we came to know that even this universe is not something separate from his existence. This is the supreme manifestation of Allah. If that's the case, we need to understand why. So understanding this supreme manifestation of Allah, then within the universe, all these people, we do shadidar with their own fellow Ismailis. Why do we do that? We believe that his jilwa, his manifestation, is in each and every one of us. Then this hadith taught us that al-khalqu ya'lullah, all the creation is as if the family members of Allah. So serving all this creation of Allah becomes serving Allah automatically. But those who say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, I'm going to go straight to Allah, it's a failure, complete failure, complete disobedience. So if you want to find Allah, if you want to understand the true meaning of religion, and these small things, we have Jamaat Khana, we have this nature, we have this universe, we have all these people, we have all this existence in the universe, whether it's insects, everything is serving the purpose of a creation. So if we see that whole picture and we try to serve that too, that means we understood the true meaning of religion. Everything is serving the purpose of the creation of Allah. And on that creation of Allah, the humankind comes on the top. And from that humankind, we analyze with his mercy. In that spectrum of humankind, spectrum of beliefs, atheists, polytheists, and all that, monotheists, and all that, we came to, on the top of that came the Ismailis. We're not biased. It was 100% in accordance with the Quran Shape. So with all that being said, everything, we see the whole picture, everything falls in place, everything serves his creation, and we need to serve his creation too. What from the basics? Because in the basics there is mercy. Direct claim will fail. I hope you got the answer, inshallah.
Ameen, Ameen. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. I do want to quote when you were talking about all of this. I actually remembered one of the beautiful verse of Diwan-e-Nasiri by Allama Sahib. In Urdu, it says, "Khuda ki marifat hi hai imam-e waqt ki pehchan. Jise hasil ho uski marifat, shadan o fakhir hai." So beautiful, whoever is recognizing God, the truly recognition is of the Imam of the time, and whoever has this recognition are actually shadan, proud and happy, fakhir. So beautifully explained. Thank you. And I think friends and we all need to read more about and understand this concept, inshallah, of Tawheed. Thank you so much, Sultanuddin Sahib, for your time and coming in and sharing the knowledge with us. Thank you, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad friends.
Thank you for the beautiful vibration of your souls on this platform. It's becoming a special platform for me. It means a lot to me for this opportunity and all that. With all his mercy and the blessings of your souls, this thing is happening, inshallah. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen.
Ameen, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad friends.
Ya Ali Madad.
يا علي مداد يا علي مداد.
يا علي